Welcome back to Games Revealed. I'm James Brink, and we are one. Today, I want to talk about something I just received in the mail. It took almost a week for me to get it, and that is the official Steam Deck dock, and that is right here. So we're going to be unboxing this, and I'm also going to be reviewing it in today's video. So, yeah, make sure to watch the whole video and see if it's something that you should buy, or maybe you should get one of the other less expensive docks. But all I know for sure is that I think there's going to be more than one choice, or more than one right choice, I should say. So with that, make sure to like, subscribe, bash that bell with your crowbar. Now, let's get into the first portion, and that is unboxing. I haven't been doing as many of these unboxing videos because it's just not as exciting, but I feel like this is one of those exciting moments. With the Steam Deck dock, it is the nice thing about this, and I've known, since we've seen other people unbox these, review them, it is branded similar to the Steam Deck. Same plastic finish. It feels very similar. It has the same branding, and it has, just pretty much everything you're going to need. It's weighted well enough to where your deck will fit well into there. But there's a couple things we're going to be reviewing today, and we'll get into that later, meaning I'm going to stop this, review it, and come back. If we look what else is in the box, you also get this cable, which is similar to the Steam Deck. In fact, I think it's the exact same one that comes with the Steam Deck. Let's get into the next segment. Okay, now that I have tested the dock on TV monitors and whatnot, played some games on it, use some accessories on it like controllers, cases, and whatnot. Let's get into the pluses, the minuses, kind of what this dock is for, and also what I recommend, who I recommend, and what I think of it, and what I continue to use it. So first up, dock gaming. So I mean, obviously you're probably getting this to play games on it, as it's not very feature rich for like Netflix and stuff like that. There might be an app coming in the future for that. I'm working on something, but we'll see, for like actually enjoying media on this thing. But this is a gaming dock, a lot like the Switch, but the Switch can do Netflix and stuff like that. Besides the point, but I will use the Switch as a little bit of a comparison in this video. But first up, what you're going to want to play on this dock, it's going to be games that are like party style or cartoon-like, or older games that still look good, and you can pump those graphics up to 1080, 1440, or 4K. If you try to do a AAA game on this and play it at, let's say even with the FSR and all that, it just won't come out looking very good. It looks blurry. If you try to up it to 1080, 1440, and stuff like that, the deck just doesn't hold up very well. And so it truly is like the deck, and even my opinion is the Switch, they're portable devices. I don't think either of them outshine any other console on a TV. They do well in certain categories, but don't expect it to do well in every category, both of them. I've never thought the Switch's docking was great. It plays really well with Breath of the Wild, though. But if you try to get into something like more like Doom Eternal or something else that has a little bit more realism, or it's meant to be a little bit more graphically pleasing, it tends to fall short. But games like Castle Crashers, Dead Space is one that I tested on the deck, and it played really well. Of course, it's also a really old game, but it still looks great on my monitor and TV. I honestly, I was surprised. The FSR, do not rely on it if it's below 1080. It just makes everything look blurry on a TV. FSR is great. It can only do so much. It is not a miracle cure. Hopefully the next gen of the Steam Deck can play at a little higher resolutions for your TV, then you're going to be just fine. It's just like with Back 4 Blood. I had to play it at a lower resolution with FSR at higher quality settings, and that was just okay. It was blurry everywhere. But if you up it to about 1080, maybe even 1440, and lower those quality settings, and not push so much onto FSR, then you get rid of some of the blurriness. It still looks better, I think. So I didn't have any issues plugging a 4K 60 hertz, aka 60 frames per second compatible HDMI or DisplayPort cable into the dock. I was able to plug them both in and play at those respective resolutions if I wanted. You have to do some fiddling sometimes to get those to show in the game settings. But if you want to get the best tweaking to like visual to performance, you're going to have to get your hands dirty a little bit. Or if you're fine with just plug and play and just get what you get, it works pretty good that way too. The dock is a little disappointing to me. It didn't almost need to even come out, except for there's one feature that makes it a must buy, I think, for the average gamer, people coming from console, or people just don't want to mess around with firmware updates, but we'll get to that at the end. So first up, just on the kind of negative things, the dock is not very stable. So if you look at these two, one is bigger than the other. So the bigger surface is going to make it a little less portable, but I'm not planning on taking my dock anywhere. I plan on using something like this anchor to make my dock more portable when I go traveling. I don't plan on actually taking anything of this sort. I have a traveling case that has a kickstand. But this, they just made it really small, and it's honestly very unstable. If my kids just barely bump whatever it's on, it could potentially tip over. I tried different little tests, just tapping at it just to see, and it is not very stable. Now, this might not matter to most people, but for people that might have kids, pets, or even like slightly small earthquakes or your ground settling in your house or something like that, who knows, it might tip over. And if you have it up just high enough and no case, because, well, that's another negative part, is this doesn't really fit cases very well. Yeah, your deck could be damaged. With that, let's go into, does this fit a case? It does not. That's another disappointing part. They really wanted to just make this fit the Steam Deck without a case on it, and I don't know if that was their intention. I think they just really wanted a smooth experience, but in that they forgot, hey, people want to have cases or just expandability in the future. And you can get something else, like other docks will have a little bit more room, and it doesn't hurt the integrity. Like, it's not going to make it slip around or anything. It has rubber grips. It fits just fine. In fact, it fits, I think it's just better all around experience than something like this that just barely fits it. And the weirdest part is I can get this case right here, the kill switch case, to fit it, kind of. It will set on top and it works, but I can't get the JSOX one, which actually has a thicker bottom to it than this one. So you got a thick bottom over here, and we got, honestly, you think with a lot of the stuff that's added onto this, it'd make it harder to fit in. It does not. The kill switch case actually fits the dock better, and it works okay. Once again, a little unstable, but the dock itself is unstable. Also with that case comes the top part where the port goes, where you plug in the power, and it doesn't work because they made it bare minimum only able to work without the case. I don't know if it was intentional. I highly doubt it. I think they were just thinking of like, how can we make this as smooth as possible? But every other dock that I have tried has a little extra spacing that makes it compatible with all the cases I've tried. This does not. Valve had plenty of time to notice that, and they did nothing. Honestly, this thing was designed, then they redesigned it a little bit after the deck came out, and then they had 6 months to redesign it, but they didn't, to fit cases and stuff like that. Like, doesn't take a whole lot of foresight to do that, which means that maybe they already had all these docks made, and they didn't want to go back and redo them, and they were waiting on software. That's my theory. I honestly think it makes a lot of sense that they waited on software more than anything. But it's just another step into I don't care about this dock as much as some of the others, in that you need to buy additional things to have it support what you'd like. Now, that being said, you can get an extender for this, and I'll have recommended extenders in my description below, and it will make it so it's case compatible as long as you have like the kill switch or a very thin case. We're going to get to positive news, but going with the negative news, it doesn't have enough options for buying. You have one option, and that comes with the power adapter and the dock. I don't need the power adapter. I have plenty of power adapters at home. I know that they want to take into account the average gamer. I honestly don't think they needed to bundle them together. They could have still kept the same price and just had them separate so you could order it with two options instead of just one. the 45 watt power adapter still does not work with my game capture card. That requires a little bit more power, where if I plug in a 65 watt power adapter, it works fine. So if you're planning on doing some capture card stuff with this dock, be prepared to potentially have to buy a better power adapter. And I will say, though, that the power adapter will work fine for most people. Hooking up a couple of controllers and whatnot. Just don't get too power hungry with your accessories and you'll be fine. I think most people are going to be fine. Still, all the other competitors of the Steam Deck ship with a 65 watt that I've tried so far, because you could use the power adapter for multiple things. Plus, on top of it, they shipped another non-modular power adapter. Could have been a separate cord, you know. This could have been a plug-in cord. It was definitely just, the dock felt like it was put together for one very specific use, and beyond that there was no forethought. When a lot of other docks, most other docks, I would say, like not every dock supports a case, but it feels like some other docks support just a little bit more. Now, one other thing is, I know I'm getting really negative because I just would have expected a little bit more, and I knew we knew the specs were, and I was yelling a little bit about this before. I wanted, instead of 3 USB slots right here, I would have liked to see one of those become a USB-C. More and more of my accessories and my purchasing is around USB-C. I do have USB-C to USB 3.1 or 3. Or like the old style of connector, but honestly, it's going to become more and more a thing in the future, USB-C. So I would have liked to see a USB-C instead of one of those USB 3s. I'm not going to really knock it for that. It's just what I would have liked to see. Let's move on to the most important part of this, like the thing that I think is the best part of the Steam Deck dock. It has a nearly automated firmware updating process. So I docked my deck, plugged in the cord from the dock into the deck, and then it popped up a window to say, hey, do you want to update this? And it gives you, at least this update from my understanding, it makes a lot of the LG incompatible TVs compatible, which JSOX is having some issues with. And it stems a little bit from one of their newer updates on the SteamOS and Steam client. And Valve has already confirmed that this dock, even though they said it's FreeSync compatible, it is not FreeSync compatible out the gate. From my understanding, most TVs/monitors that support FreeSync, and so they're creating a fix for that. And that's another plus for this. If that also doesn't work on other docks, to get that to update, you have to go into, like, let's say JSOX. Right now, their only way to update their firmware, which at least they're releasing updates for their firmware, so you have to go in to Windows, which is a weird one because it's a Steam Deck dock. It shouldn't have to require Windows. It should be all done in SteamOS. And I mean, even if you have to go to desktop, that's fine. It's just Windows. So you have to plug it into Windows, run the firmware update software, and then you're good to go. It's a huge hassle, I would say, for the average gamer and people that might not have an extra computer to do that or a way to do that. So that's a kind of a ding against everything else. And that's why I give my recommendation. Like, if you're an average gamer and you don't want hassle and you just want to plug this in and play, I would just recommend getting the Steam Deck dock. For me, I am going to use it at my desk because I have it. It's official. I'm curious to see how updates go, and I'm going to continue doing content with it. And so that's a big part of it. But if I was to just have to buy one dock, it would probably be something more like this. This is a little bit more generic of a brand, and I'm going to be doing some reviews on this and some other of my docks, and I'm going to be doing a comparison video on docks too soon. Or something along the lines of this M.2 one from JSOX, which allows you to put an M.2 drive in there. They do require an extra script that you have to run in desktop mode to get the auto mounting to work, which I will have a video on how to do that soon. But the downside is you have 2 USB, 1 HDMI, and 1 power delivery USB-C port. And of course the Gigabyte Ethernet. And all these have Gigabyte Ethernet. I'm typically one that's fine with not using that unless I'm doing, let's say, streaming from like my PlayStation or whatnot. Like, there's times when you want to use the Gigabyte Ethernet. I don't typically need to use it. I don't use it. I use Wi-Fi, and I've been fine with that so far. So I would be just using a regular dock, or honestly, it's still one of my preferences is the dongle dock. And that's because it usually even has more. There's so many options with the dongle docks. There's so many out there that you just don't have to worry about. These other ones that I've been talking about are Steam Deck specific. I have other computers. I have other things I like to plug this into. This is very universal. This works for everything. My case has a stand in it. I don't need a dock typically. I will be using docks for my TVs in my house because I'm more of a Steam Deck user these days for those cases. But if you need one single thing and you have, let's say, a way to have a stand on your deck, just get a dongle dock. It's so universal. It has like these SD card slots. So if you want to plug it into your computer, access photos, whatnot, it's awesome. It also has a USB-C slot, which I have a lot of USB-C accessories to plug into that. Honestly, like everything here is good, but you just might want to stick with the Steam Deck dock, even with all its kind of downsides. They're not major. They're just annoyances that I hope Valve will fix in the future. If you have a case, be prepared to remove that case every time you dock or to get something else. So that's really all I have to say on this. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think of this video. What do you think of these docks? Do you like the Steam Deck dock? Is this something you want to buy and use, or do you plan on getting one of the other docks mentioned here, like the JSOX dock? Or are you just going to continue using maybe a dongle dock that you have, or just something else, or you just don't need it? You're on the go all the time. You don't need to be docking, and I get it. The Steam Deck, even after getting the dock, the Steam Deck is best played on the go, in my opinion. But if you're going to be planning on playing on bigger screens, actually playing your deck on the go, or, you know, just in more convenient places, then maybe buy a PC, I guess. I don't know. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think of that and what you guys think of this whole thing. And thank you guys for watching. Check out all the other goodies in the description below, including the new Halloween t-shirt going on right now. And also check out my other videos. I'll catch you guys later. Peace out. Later. It's not the case's fault. Let's be honest. It's on the maker of the docks to make them expandable or to make them more compatible with other things.